A massive military build-up in the heart of West Africa, 100,000 fresh troops ready for battle, and a powerful new regional alliance leaving Western planners completely terrified. Welcome back. You're watching the Global Observer. A historic shift in military power is officially exploding across the Sahel tonight. The government of Burkina Faso has just adopted a groundbreaking law to build a massive force of 100,000 military reserves. Think of this recruitment like building a massive human wall to block a raging flood. This force is so large that it is equal to the entire regular army of South Africa, and it is bigger than the standing armies of Ghana, Senegal, and Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire combined. This unprecedented mobilization is part of a brand new Alliance of Sahel States known as the AES. Working alongside Russian security partners, these nations are moving at lightning speed to completely wipe out terrorist networks. Tonight we break down the massive troop recruitment and the panic it is causing a neighboring state and the bold new model of African military sovereignty. Dear viewers, to truly understand this massive scale of mobilization, you must look at how Burkina Faso is completely rewriting the rules of national defense. A regular army functions like a full-time professional sport team. The player train every single day and get paid a constant monthly salary. A reserve force, however, functions like a massive network of local volunteers who keep their normal day jobs but are fully trained to jump onto the field the exact moment a crisis hits. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is betting everything on this model because it is cheap, fast, and connects the soldiers directly to the neighborhoods they protect. This strategy is already showing massive success. Between late last year and the middle of February, the National Security Forces achieved a series of defensive battlefield victories. They neutralized hundreds of terrorists and reclaimed massive chunks of lost territory, proving that the momentum has officially shifted in favor of the state. But this massive expansion of troops does not exist in a vacuum, as it serves as the foundation for a much larger regional shield. The 100,000 new reserves are designed to lock into the broader security structure of the Alliance of the Sahel States, which joins Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger into a single, unstoppable confederation. The alliance has just launched a joint force of 2,000 specialized frontline soldiers, specifically trained to crush ideological armed groups like the Al-Qaeda and the ISIL. To supercharge this effort, Russia has publicly stepped forward to provide advanced weaponry and specialized combat training for this new regional force. Traoré even visited Moscow to solidify these ties, openly praising Russia's ability to withstand international sanctions. With Russian weapons flowing into the region and a massive joint army taking shape, the geopolitical map of West Africa has been completely redrawn without any input from Western capitals. As this massive military machine grows stronger by the day, a deep wave of pure panic is sweeping through the neighboring West African governments. The coastal states like Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana are watching this mobilization with extreme nervousness. Burkina Faso has previously accused Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire of funding multiple coup attempts to overthrow Traoré government. In this tense environment, a force of 100,000 trained reserves sitting right on the northern border functions are massive, different against foreign political interference. Furthermore, traditional regional groups like ECOWAS are realizing that their attempts to isolate the AES nations have completely backfired. Instead of weakening under international sanctions, the Sahel Alliance has achieved a total military acceleration. Civilian governments in cities like Accra, Abuja, and Dakar are absolutely terrified that their own populations will look at Traoré's success and demand the exact same bold leadership. However, dear viewers, this rapid military explosion also brings up some very curious and honest questions about long-term stability and internal safety. Independent security analysts are pointing out that a massive army alone cannot end an insurgency if the government fails to fix the deep economic grievances that drive young men to join rebel groups in the first place. Then, there are also rising concerns from human rights organizations regarding the lack of strict accountability within large volunteer forces. In previous campaigns, local defense groups were accused of committing serious violations against civilians during intense operations. Added to that, the government has officially used general mobilization laws to conscript political critics and journalists into tough military service. Without strong legal checks and balances, a force this large could easily carry the same structural problems into the field, making the battle lines even more complicated. Yet, beneath all the political debate lies a powerful and undeniable threat about the rebirth of authentic Black history and absolute self-reliance. For the past several years, under French military occupation and Western-backed United Nations missions, the terrorist insurgency only grew larger, and towns were constantly besieged. Civilians also were lost at an alarming rate. The old international approach failed completely. Traoré's bold method is totally different because he kicked out French forces, ended the UN missions, invited targeted Russians' advice, and called on ordinary citizens to defend their own homeland. This is what true military sovereignty looks like in action. If this massive gamble succeeds, by the end of the year, it will completely shatter the old arguments that African nations must always rely on Western security matters and their masters to survive. It will become the primary model for every single nation on the continent. But the bold actions unfolding in Ouagadougou are sending a clear message to the entire world that Africa is fully capable of writing its own destiny through raw courage. The era of begging for foreign peacekeepers with heavy strings attached is officially coming to an absolute end, so those leaders say. That is why we thank you for trusting the Global Observer to deliver the raw facts behind the headlines with high quality, precision, and zero bias. Do you think a force of 100,000 military reserves can completely defeat a decade-long insurgency? Will this bold model of military sovereignty spread to the rest of the African continent? Let us know your knowledge in the comment section below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, share this urgent broadcast across all your digital platforms, and also subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on the frontline analysis. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.